We are live from the Intuit Dome, and if you're into it and just walking around the concourse, see what we did there? The Clippers, they've displayed basketball jerseys representing nearly every high school team in California. My alma mater's up there somewhere. More importantly, though, there is James Harden's jersey, and here is Harden exclusively with our Shams Charania.
Kawhi Leonard out indefinitely. Easy to say, he's always hurt and he missed a ton of games since he joined the Clippers.
Paul George gone. The Clippers are now reduced to the star attraction being James Harden.
Kawhi's a leader, but Kawhi's a different leader. You know what I mean? He don't really, he's not really vocal. But on the court, he'll show you. You know what I mean? Which there's been a lot of leaders like that throughout the course of the NBA history, where they just dogs on the court. You know what I mean? They're not going to talk too much. They're just killers. I'm both. So, I like to communicate, making sure I'll help guys know where they're at, and then I like to, do what I do on the court. But for now, as he, rehabs and gets back, I got, more of an opportunity to lead and kind of, help guys come along to where we can win games.
Shams Charania is here with us now. And Shams, that's fascinating that he says that with or without Kawhi on the court, he sees himself as a leader of this team just because Kawhi is such a different, frankly, quieter type of leader. We know no Kawhi tonight. When could we see him make his debut?
I'm told Kawhi Leonard will be missing weeks. This is not an injury that's going to be measured by a week, 2 weeks, potentially, not days, obviously. This will be an extended period of time that the Clippers are starting this season without him. But I'm told they feel that they have a plan and a protocol in place that will allow him, when he is ready to return, to actually sustain his play on the court. And in the meantime, it's going to be about James Harden leading this team. He told me he knows Kawhi Leonard wants to play every game, wants to play as much as he possibly can. But they know Kawhi Leonard, when he's in the line, they can't have him be in and out like he was in the playoffs, like he was late last season. They need him because that's the only way this team is going to compete for a championship. Yep. James Harden is ready. He's primed. He's been a leader. And I think we'll see how far he can lead this team.
The Clippers know that they're going to potentially take a step back this year without Paul George and with Kawhi, who was in for most of the season last year, not going to be there for a chunk. But here's their game plan. Even though they got so much attention last year for how they played in the middle of the season with Kawhi and Paul together, they were not a great defensive team last year. In fact, they were not a great defensive team the last 2 years. They finished 17th and 18th on defense the last 2 years. So what they're hoping is this lineup that they've got put together here is a better defensive group, that they will defend better, and that they will get a great year from James Harden, and that they can compete for the play-in, especially if Kawhi is able to come back later and play well. Is it possible they're going to miss the playoffs and hand another lottery pick to the Thunder? It's possible. But they have done some things to try to make this team competitive, and they're going to draw some energy off this new building.
Interesting to note for Kawhi Leonard, he has been limited to strength training, workouts, being in the training room.
Right.
He has not progressed to much at all of relevance on the basketball court. So that just gives you a show into a peek into exactly where he is with his status with the season starting.
And all the more pressure on James Harden then to own this team. And we have seen James in that role before. He is very comfortable being the guy. We saw it for years in Houston, in and out with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving in the lineup in Brooklyn. So this is a role we've seen him play before, and it's going to be one he's going to need to step in. The Suns, they also made a couple of key roster changes here. They added veterans, they added depth. But Chiney, there is one player you have your eyes on that has a big impact on the Suns' big three. What you got, sis?
Let's go! Big Cali energy here at the Intuit Dome, which means we've got to have a big breakdown. Now, the Phoenix Suns, they're in town to take on the Clippers, and we all know they have a big three. But the issue is they kind of struggled, and kind of is an understatement. As you roll me my graphic right here, in the clutch, it was not cute. 30th when it comes to points per game. Point differential, 30th again. Turnover, you look at that, 27th and then 26th. But I have good news for you Suns fans. They got a point guard that will clean it up. Tyus Jones is the player that I'm talking about, who's been #1 in assists to turnover ratio the last few years. And what I love about this is the screen-to-screener action. Watch KD slip. And my favorite words in basketball, and one, son, let's get to it. That's a point guard that helps your offense. And also when he raises the level of the offense, everyone is willing to share. Look at the amount of passes. That's a good shot, for a great shot, for an even better shot, to your iconic future Hall of Famer who can knock this down in his sleep. But this last play is what gets me going. It's a double drag screen that goes to a flare action because he's the key piece. He needs to feel comfortable. Bradley Beal being able to get to his sweet spot, the mid-range, that's because you have a point guard like Tyus Jones that just has a great basketball IQ. But y'all, this is a big three versus, who was it? James Harden. Now, a lot of people, it was kind of funny, if you look at this, roasted that man for saying, I am the system. Well, they absolutely need him to be the system to really hold it down, especially without key players in this matchup. Now, Perk, what are your thoughts? Can James Harden do it like he did back in our hometown of Houston all those years ago?
Here's the thing about James Harden, right? No one has ever questioned, can he get it done in the regular season, right? The thing is, can he elevate his game in the postseason to take his team deeper into the postseason? Do I believe that James Harden could still go out here and put up historical numbers in the regular season? Hell yeah, he's that electrifying. But when it comes down to KD and the Phoenix Suns, they're my sleeper. They're my dark horse to win it all, Legs. And here's why. Yes, they have 3 of the most efficient scorers in the game, but that damn Kevin Durant, he gave you almost 28 points last season, and he was unhappy. This season, he's happy with a new coach. He's going to come back with the right mindset, the right leadership. And look, they addressed the point guard position, but they also addressed the center position. I love Plumlee putting pressure on Nurkic so they compete in-house for those minutes at the center.
Pass
the rock, man.
Pass to the shooter. I like you to hold that thing. All right. So, look, I'm glad you said what you said about them being a sleeper because I actually agree. This is not going to be the version of the Phoenix Suns you saw a year ago. I felt like every conversation about the Suns a year ago felt like what you were saying was a disappointment, right, based on expectations. That's not what this is going to be. Number one, you got those top 3 guys are going to have a lot more time together. You would assume better health than they had a year ago and just more cohesion. But it's the other changes. It's adding a Tyus Jones to facilitate offense for those 3 guys so they can just go be more raw attackers. Let Tyus Jones set the table. You've got a new coach, Mike Budenholzer, a guy that commands a lot of respect, a champion in this league, a presence. I think they're going to respond very well to him. They also added some other role players that are going to be important for their depth. Mason Plumlee, Ryan Dunn, a rookie, who I think you're going to be talking about as you see this guy's defense early in the season. I am very excited about what I'm going to see, so I'm thrilled. I'm going to be courtside tonight on the call for this one because I want to see the Suns.
Oh, where's the defense?
What you got? Oh, yes.
Y'all sleeping.
Get in the heels, too. You watch it. Hey, you taped up? Are you taped up?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Just making sure.
All buckets, Malika.
The first buckets at Intuit here from one Chiney Ogwumike. You can tip off your weekend on Friday, though, with Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, the Knicks playing in their home opener against Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers. That's at 7:30 Eastern.
NBA